In Milwaukee, the Department of Transportation's State Traffic Operations Center improves traffic safety and speeds emergency response times through use of an extensive network of high-speed fiber optic cable.
The STOC can be looked at as really a dynamic network that partners with agencies, specifically for things that are related to the maintenance of the roadways, to emergency situations, to accidents, to the mundane of driving into work every morning. The signs that you'll see on the roadways that say 14 minutes or the travel times, those are automatically picked up by sensors in the road. Those sensors will monitor the traffic as it relates to the speed limits in those areas and then project those times out for travelers to see. The dynamic messaging signs not only show traffic information, but in emergency situations, because of the ability to get that information into those signs, things like Amber Alerts or any other specific emergency situations are able to be put on those signs for everybody to see.
Our focus here really is on keeping the traffic flowing. We're focused on communicating with not just the public, but law enforcement, every other agency that is responding out to incidents, and keeping lanes open as long as possible, keeping things moving for the public. That fiber network that we put in allowed us to really expand the deployment of the video network throughout the state.
There's over 200 cameras around the state, most concentrated into the heavier traffic areas in Milwaukee, Madison areas, but those cameras broadcast real time the video images of what's going on.
The network has given us an opportunity to link to law enforcement.
There's an accident, the first responders that are going to be there, fire, police, they need that information in real time as fast as they can get it. If we spot that incident first, messages will go out from this center to the law enforcement agencies of that area so they can respond to that. Sometimes the law enforcement agencies will come upon that first.
This is in Dane County, a semi on fire. We may have a camera there. 39, 90, 94, the ramp to 51. We do. Semi on fire. Oh, and 90 is closed.
If there's a camera in the area, we're able to zoom in on it, have some information, and then of course, when we do have that, that is broadcast out through our network.
Hopefully we'll be able to get out there with this one and respond quickly, get lanes open as quickly as possible. That engine just came on the wrong way on the entrance ramp. The only reason he was able to do that was that their dispatchers could see what was going on, make that determination that the freeway is closed down, it's safe to get on, counterflow. In the past, there's no way that engine would have been able to do that. They would have been coming on the long way around.
The backup right now is over a mile, so that fire engine would have had to fight about a mile of traffic to get there.
They get that information real time and they're able to make those decisions and cut 5-10 minutes, say, off of an arrival time because they have that information at hand.
They're going to start getting traffic flowing because that's one of our primary motives, is to try to eliminate and reduce those secondary crashes. Secondary crashes would be anything at the back end of this queue where you start seeing people slamming on their brakes at the last minute. By eliminating and by clearing the traffic as quickly as possible, by keeping at least one lane flowing, you eliminate those secondary crashes.
So once I have this information saved, it will feed our 511 system, so people can punch 511 or go to their computer and get all this information there.
For the general public, they can go on the state's 511 website to see all of the traffic cameras and so forth related to the area that they're interested in. Television stations use the DOT feed in their newscast.
You'll see those reports on the morning news, drive time type information, but they also do use the information when there's a major incident going on. And we have a strong interest in making that happen and getting that video out to the public. We don't charge the media for those video streams because we want this information getting out. We want travelers to know what the conditions are, make their routing decisions even before you leave home.
High-speed broadband also offers local governments new options for offering better services at a lower cost.
Right now in Wisconsin, we have 592 municipalities. There could be tremendous savings if those adjoining municipalities were able to either share services or consolidate services within their area. Broadband makes it a lot easier to do that, particularly if there needs to be communication or data sharing across jurisdictions. Having a broadband connection in some cases makes that possible.
In Eau Claire, the city partnered with Eau Claire County, the UW, local schools, and hospitals to build a high-speed community area network. Once connected by fiber optic cable, the city and county governments could begin consolidating services, like sharing the cost of a single document imaging system.
When you're a public entity, you've got to keep everything for public records request. So we were looking at buying a document imaging system, and the stuff that we want that would really solve our problem was so expensive. And we thought, wow, we just didn't think it was going to happen. But meeting with Eau Claire County says, we got the same problem. We've got tons and tons of records. We're running out of space. If we couldn't buy an application with Eau Claire County, we'd have to do something different, and it'd be way less usable than what we have. Together we can buy a world-class application. Separately, we can't.
The city and county also share software for property records, and access to the community fiber network created new opportunities for a shared 911 call center.
Eau Claire Communications Center.
It would run the jail system, it would run the sheriff's department, it would run the city of Eau Claire Police Department, it would provide dispatch for all the communities in our community like Fairchild and Augusta and Fall Creek, the University of Wisconsin Police Department. This system would do everything for everybody. By working together on this application, we're talking about life and death matters. And this is a city, but we're still talking about life and death matters. It affects how our response times are with EMS. It affects on how we have police coverage when there's major events within our community. So, working together on a technical level, we'll also work together on operations type levels.
In Sauk County, the county board replaced its emergency communications system with a loop of fiber optic cable connected to 9 communication towers, which improved its coverage of the county's hilly terrain.
It offered us a lot more flexibility for the future. It allowed us to put towers where we couldn't with microwave due to line of sight. Basically what you're seeing here on the map is yellow tags represent a communications tower. In green is basically the fiber optic network that basically connects tower sites to tower sites. All this green is fiber optic cable. It's about 149?
About 148 miles.
48 miles of fiber. This becomes really rugged as far as the topography. It's on fiber versus microwave, so we have the same level of service through this path as any other path, regardless of topography. Any information that happens in this area as far as public safety can be sent back to any other tower site to be sent back out to other agencies.
Sauk County 911.
Well, here in the 911 dispatch center, this is basically where all the 911 calls come into. Any fire or EMS agency or police agency that needs to be dispatched to anything, that really is funneling through this particular location.
10-4-9104.
Once that signal's going out, the ability to have those towers connected and have that information instantaneously kind of going off all of our different towers is really what our system is built on.
Here we're on the roof of the courthouse in Baraboo. What you're seeing behind us is basically a communications tower. This is one of 9. It's meant to basically act as a local transmitter receiver for public safety as well as co-location for cellular. The black lines are feed lines coming down the tower, and what you see here is basically a management tray where they enter the building and go down into communications equipment areas.
And then in addition, here at the courthouse, back to the law enforcement center, we also utilize a pair of fiber where we use fiber modems to connect into our video arraignment system out at the law enforcement center. So that from the courtroom, right direct out to the law enforcement center, they can connect, do an initial appearance.
Your Honor, the state has no objection to a personal appearance bond. However,
In the upper right-hand corner is the arraignment room out at the Law Enforcement Center. The upper left-hand corner is actually the judge's bench, and then the two on the lower side are the two attorney tables. So basically, if somebody's arrested, they have to make an initial appearance rather than them being transported from the jail, which is about 1.5 miles away. They can just stay within the secure confines of the jail. It's a safety issue, but really it's the cost to quickly move through the arraignments. This is done every day at 2:30 in the afternoon. The cost of the fiber is really the cost of putting it in the ground. So when we put this in the ground, we did go with a 96 count fiber. 24 of those fibers are kind of dedicated for county use, but the rest of them are there for individual companies or individuals to lease that dark fiber.
Our goal is anytime we spend government money on public safety to have the thought in mind to use those same dollars to help grow the private sector as well.
A company called Bug Tussle Wireless installed equipment on the county's towers to provide cell phone and wireless internet services.
We were able to work a deal with the county where we would share our revenue with them and they would share their assets with us. So we took each of the county's towers and provided both mobility and broadband services from those towers. One of the things that people like about a wireless service is the fact that it's very easy to connect. This device is communicating with our tower. It has several ports that allow you to connect to computers. It also allows you to connect an internet line. Somewhere out there's a broadband user, and that device communicates with some antennas up at the top of this tower. The county's emergency management vehicles talk to their antennas, and there's really no conflict between the two. So then our traffic comes down the tower through these transmission lines. We've been quietly going about a very well-articulated plan, and it will get broadband to 100% of the residents of this county and other counties that we're operating in. The only issue is how fast will it get there, and the only limitation on that is really access to capital. Sometimes in a rural area where you have very sparse population, you have to work together. It's no different than 5 farmers owning a thrashing machine and working together, going field from field, farm to farm, to share assets. That's been happening in rural communities in Wisconsin for the last 150 years, and this is just really a continuation of that working together within our communities.